Hey guys, Joshua Peterson, Peterson Electric. Have a lot of questions that I get on the phone. I remodeled my kitchen, took out my vent hood, 1970 or 80s home, put in a microwave, and now my lights are freaking out. Why? Well, this is still a vent hood, so it only draws 1.5 amp, maybe 1 amp with the motor and light. Microwaves draw 1200 to 1500 watts, so anywhere from 12 to 15 amps. Here's a prime example of a really bad wire job. See these lights right here? They're kind of flickering. Look at this one right here. So as I have lost the neutral, if I touch the ground with this neutral, I get everything to almost turn on. But the minute I do that, I can turn on the dining and lose my hood. So I got a really bad wire job above this microwave that I think is contributing. But I also have basement lights out and have a garage out. And it all started because the homeowner was trying to put in some wood floor and she hit her saw and turned it on, and then boom, everything went out. Thought maybe a GFI, maybe a breaker. Tested everything, nothing. So, and then I got in the attic and I've got some, what I call the rat's nest up there. Got some loose junctions. So I tightened all that, went in the basement, had a drop ceiling. Same thing, bunch of junction boxes. I think the code read in the 70s that the one outlet and the one light could be down there off of that same lighting circuit up here. Because I've seen this before. A homeowner does their own basement like maybe in the 80s, because the original wire in here is a certain color, and then you go downstairs in the basement, and instead of it being black, it's that thick white jacket stuff with a lot of brown insulation in there. Anyways, I found a bunch of, like 4 loose boxes. Thank God there's a drop ceiling. I've had those before in the drywall and I can't do anything about it. So, anyways, I'm still looking for this. You know, I just thought I'd maybe turn on some techno music and that might help me strobe this out. But yeah, if I take it off of the ground, I'm definitely know I'm losing a neutral somewhere, because I touch it to ground, the ground goes back to panel, and I've tightened about, geez, 15 connections as I've gone through just to see if I lucked out. Still haven't found it. I'm even trying to open up my lights to see if there's any junctions in those lights, like double or triple wires. No. Because somewhere in the early 70s, I think they stopped trying to put junctions in the boxes. I definitely see that in my homes in the 30s, 40s, and 50s years old. In the 1950s, I see them junction a bunch up there, and you got to dig to find it. And sometimes guys even put the junction next to it and make a really bad splice over to that light, and then that flickers up there, and that's what does it. But I do know that the garage and the outlet down below that, and the 5 outlets on that back west wall, and then these are somehow tied to this. My fear is that I've got a junction in this wall, but it looks like original cabinets of the 70s, and I don't see any cut and drywall and walls that have been moved and they tried to mud it. So I don't know. There's a 110 down there for gas. Maybe it's in there, and they came up through the basement. Maybe the original electrician, because the panel, you got to consider your panel location right on the other side of that wall outside. So maybe the electrician went downstairs originally, hit the basement light and switch and outlet, and then came back up to the vent hood and then went this way. I know when I first got here, I touched that outlet and the garage outlet, and stuff started to flicker again. Anyways, I'll do a part 2 on this one. I've been here right now about an hour and a half. These get pretty deep traced, but it's always that one circuit people overload on it. And they always do it in the basement. They're like, oh, look, power. Let's just run the whole basement on it. So you do-it-yourself homeowners, man, you end up paying a price later when you end up with like 5-6 hours tracing something out and then trying to find out how to split that circuit so you're not unbalancing it so bad. Anyways, we'll get you back on part 2. Thanks.